Well, welcome everybody. I'm excited to be chatting again with Todd Creager on the Let's Talk About Love, Sex, and Infidelity podcast. Todd, just for your little background on you, is a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed clinical social worker with 35 plus years of experience.
Emphasize the plus.
Yes, helping couples and individuals heal themselves from crises such as trauma, infidelity, and he also helps couples rekindle the passion and aliveness in their relationship. Todd is a firm believer in combining healing modalities in his practice. So he likes to incorporate EMDR, emotional focused therapy, and meditation to help promote optimal healing and living for his patients. So Todd himself, you've been practicing meditation for over 40 years now, right? And you've personally experienced how it has positively impacted your relationships and your health. Today, we're going to continue our discussion. This is the third in the series of discussions that we've had on meditation and relationships. Last month, we talked about it was radical self-acceptance. And then the month before that, it was the freedom of dropping your agenda. And I have both of those links down in the show notes. So if you want to catch those, you can catch those. But anyways, we are going to talk today about opening your heart to love, which is actually a really appropriate conversation because you just celebrated your 38th wedding anniversary. Was that? And this is August when we're doing this recording. So that was a few days ago. And I know you have a lot to share with our audience, not just about couples in your practice and how meditation has helped them open their heart to love, but also from your own personal experience. And I know that your listeners are going to get a lot of value. So let's dive into today's first question that I have about meditation, opening your heart to love, and how meditation can help that. Okay. So I've heard you, Todd, say that as we protect ourselves from pain, we also close off the opportunity to really experience love. So what can you share with people? What are the typical blocks that prevent people from experiencing the love that they really want in their relationships?
That's the big question right there. We have a capacity to give and receive love that is infinite. It's true, it's infinite. We have such a capacity, but it gets clouded over by fear and by our past experiences and how we tend to protect ourselves from those past experiences that were painful from happening again. So really, in a nutshell, what happens, what blocks us is fear. And when we are closing off ourselves from pain, we close ourselves off from love, as your question says. I mean, that's the problem, is that when our heart closes, we're numbed to some degree to pain. When we avoid intimacy, when we avoid sex, when some people avoid dating because they have been hurt. And so there's a fear of hurt, fear of rejection, fear of, if I get too close to you, you'll leave me. Like, and there's family of origin things too that have happened. If a person has experienced a fear, like a new client I just saw today, mom passed away when he was 7 years old, very young. Well, that could set up a whole lifetime of, you're going to leave me unconsciously, that you're going to leave me. So why would I get close to you? Why would I not sabotage relationships and at least protect myself from that pain? And this is not a conscious thing. But of course, what we're doing also is cutting ourselves off from any potential love, being able to receive love as well as give love.
Yeah. And isn't that just sort of like the way that we're wired as human beings to protect ourselves from any kind of outside, what we perceive as harm?
Yes, I mean, we are built to survive. We've inherited the brains of Neanderthal, right?
Yes.
And those of us that are here have brains that have that we've inherited that have been really good at survival, which
Mhm.
means we're looking for problems and we do a fight or flight or a freeze as a way to survive. But of course, in the area of love, when we fight, flight, or freeze, it cuts us off from the social engagement that we want. So you're absolutely right. Our brains get wired for that. And good news is the brains can be rewired. But we'll talk about that maybe with one of the other questions I'm
Yes, yes,
anticipating.
yes, because that really kind of leads me into the second question
Oh,
is,
there you go.
how does meditation really help people to get over their fears or work through them and their blocks so that they can really, access that inner part that you talk about all the time that really is capable of giving and receiving that love? I mean, how does that help? Because I know therapy is one way to do it,
Mhm.
but meditation complements that, right? So maybe you could
Yes.
on both of those subjects.
Sure, sure. Well, obviously, as you said, I combine modalities a lot. I think that there's room for more than one vehicle for change. But what I have found is when I'm working with trauma, for example, I use a technique like EMDR, which really helps people process change.
Mhm.
EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I do work with a variety of couple techniques that have to do around having to develop an attachment. But even in that, people's brains get wired a certain way so that it interferes with developing what we call a secure attachment with their partner, which is an attachment where I can soothe you and regulate you, and you can soothe me and I allow you to. That's what we want in a relationship. We want that. Well, what I have found is those people that are whether in therapy or not even in therapy, when they're doing meditation, that is a very powerful other vehicle that helps people rewire their brain. We know that uh, our brain is what we call malleable. They call it neuroplasticity. I'm sure I'll be saying this a number of times in these talks with you, but neuroplasticity is the capacity for our brains to rewire, for our neurons to literally rewire in ways that help us have the love we want, to
Mhm.
help us have the joy that we want. So, yes, we adapt to certain things that happen because a fear is such a strong emotion, but that we can rewire. So, how does meditation do that? It Meditation doesn't give you something that isn't already there, right? It's sort of like I think of the Wizard of Oz, right? And Dorothy wants to get home, and the Scarecrow wants a brain, and the Tin Man wants a heart, right? And the lion wants courage, and the big wizard, right? Well, the big wizard is really just a man, and basically the wizard just helps all of them see that they already have it, right? So if you never saw Wizard of Oz, I just spoiled it for you, but that's the whole message, right?
Yes.
They already have it. Just access it, right? Well, we have that capacity. It gets clouded over, like a sunny day, you might not see the sun, it's clouds, but it gets clouded out by pain, by trauma, by hurt, by
Mhm.
fear, by this need to survive. Meditation helps us access that kind of unlimited, infinite, undisturbed part of us that is capable of being fully present to ourselves and others. And we begin to experience aspects of ourselves that are not conditioned by the past. And
Correct.
so once we can access that through time, it doesn't happen the first day you meditate, but but you'll notice things right away, maybe. I know many people do, I have, but the kind of rewiring of the brain happens through time, and you start to find that you have a capacity to go beyond the past history and even some past trauma. The brain really does rewire it in a variety of ways, the real things, real neurochemistry that happens uh, in brains that research has shown.
Yeah. I know that, like, for me, I also meditate too. And like when I get in a sticky situation or I get triggered by something, I feel like this is like what you say, it like gives you that sort of like bird's eye view to think about things more objectively rather than emotionally. Like, oh, I
Yes.
see this, I'm in this situation, whether it's in my partner or social
Right.
situation, and I can think about it objectively. Oh, why am I feeling this way? Oh, I'm feeling this way, rather than just getting in a spiraling of downward emotion and just saying, I
Yeah.
want to leave,
Right. You're
right?
absolutely right. Yeah. It gives you this moment, this pause, this space where you have
Mhm.
awareness. And with awareness, you see things. You realize, oh my God, I'm not that defensive reaction. I'm having one,
Yeah,
but I'm not it. And I don't need to act on that. I have this other part of me that is quite loving and kind and accepting of myself without conditions and others. We have that capacity. So meditation helps tap into that capacity, and you could hear it, but once you got to just do it to experience it.
exactly. I mean, like it's that time, and you may not even know after how whatever, because you know that, those moments with your partner or friends, or, it could be a child or whatever, those triggering moments where, they say something in the past that may have triggered you. And then all of a sudden you're going, oh, you're like looking at it a whole new way. And it's really hard to say at what point that pivotal moment happens, but it is a very powerful tool to have to help you negotiate any kind of a relationship, correct? And I'm sure you see
Yes.
that in your uh,
Yeah.
clients that you work with too, right?
Yeah. All the time. Yeah. I work with meditation more and more for good
Yeah,
reason. For good reason.
good reason. Okay, so I'm going to just take a quick moment because we really have been talking about meditation and relationships, just to give our listeners a little plug into your newest program, your meditation for couples and singles program that you just started, launched over the summer. You've designed this program. Really, it's aimed at helping you, anybody who's listening, and your partner be open to more closeness and depth, and decreasing your reactivity, which we've talked about here in this last question, and developing a more relationship harmony and love, right? And it's not about changing you, right? Because that's meditation really isn't about changing you, but it's really about becoming more of who you are and giving you the access to the parts of you that are capable of more intimacy, more vulnerability, more reactivity, and more love. And inside,
Less reactivity.
less reactivity and more love. Right. Sorry. Anyways, and this is a monthly program that Todd has designed. And it's you get a new theme every single month that's handpicked by Todd, that is going to he's going to give you a guide to meditations, a video, so that you can remove any kind of blocks to having the relationship you want with your partner. So, and for those of you that are new to meditation and or have struggled with it in the past, you've got special bonuses waiting
Hmm.
inside where you teach them meditation relaxation techniques, how to get started, how to overcome some of the blocks that people have, most common blocks that kind of prevent people from really getting into their meditation practice, and a lot more. And not only that, you have live mini retreats coming up. And I think we've got one planned in September and then another one in November, every other month. So it's a great way for you to come meet with Todd. You get guided in a live meditation, right? And you get to answer the question.
Yes.
And it's just a really great way to help deepen your practice. So if you are interested, we have the link down below in the notes for you to go and check it out. Is there anything else, Todd, that you want to tell anybody listening or watching us today about the program?
There is no reason not to click that button. It is a great program. I mean, just the price is right.
Yep.
You'll have me. You start to do it, and you start to see your life change. Both your health increases, your relationship increases. If you're not in a relationship but you want to be in one, you'll find yourself more open and ready and prepared for one. there's no reason not to do it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
It's just my passion project, as you and I have talked about.
Yep.
I had other things I was doing. I put it all aside for this because I think this is the real deal. I mean,
It
not
is.
that the others weren't the real deal, but this I think is the real deal, and I'm passionate about it. And
It can
yeah.
help anybody at any
Mhm.
point in their relationship, or even if you've tried meditation in the past and it hasn't worked for you, this is a really great way to find a good guide like Todd to
Mhm.
help you,
Yeah.
you know, overcome these obstacles and really go deeper with your meditation practice. So that link is right below, and let's dive into our next question. So, because this is something you just touched upon there, but I want you to explain to anybody who's listening or watching us the health benefits of reducing inflammation and increasing oxytocin for people who, just are wondering why and how meditation can really help with that and help them get more love.
Well, it's all connected, and the more my positive neurotransmitters and hormones are working for me, the easier it is for me to be loving and to attract love, right? And so
Mm.
there's been a lot of research done. We know, first of all, that inflammation is the cause of almost all diseases, and reducing inflammation is the best way to prevent disease or alleviate the symptoms of mental, emotional challenges or physical challenges. We know that now. We know that, and there's ways to eat, and there's ways to communicate, and I do that in other areas, definitely with communication.
Mm.
But meditation in and of itself, practiced on a regular basis, it does increase a lot of things. You mentioned oxytocin. It does increase oxytocin, especially when you do what they call the loving kindness meditations,
Mhm.
where you direct loving energy towards your partner. In my meditation for couples program, I just have to say that there's all about meditation, but there's always a part in it, even those that you're doing alone, where I do have you bring in your partner in your own imagination. This is definitely the part that could increase oxytocin. We know also indirectly it increases oxytocin because it leads to more harmony with the couple, and that can lead to more touching. And we're finding that touching is what increases oxytocin. So even indirectly, it leads to more of this kind of wellness. It also, because it makes you feel better, meditation does, you could have more energy, you could sleep better, you might exercise more. That also increases oxytocin. And, but besides oxytocin, there's a
Yes.
lot of studies that show that meditation affects other hormones and neurotransmitters like serotonin. It goes up. We know when we meditate, it increases our serotonin, which really helps us protect ourselves from stress. We get more resilient. DHEA, which is a precursor to testosterone, gives us the energy that we need, male or female. GABA is a neurotransmitter that helps us stay calm. And there's growth hormone. There's been definitely showing that when meditation places the brain in like a delta wave state, it releases growth hormones more than in any other wave states, and also even melatonin itself. That it can increase melatonin, which leads to better sleep and improves immune function. So meditation really affects us in real life physiological terms, as of course, because the mind and body are so connected.
And one of the great things is that, you can do it anywhere. I mean, you can take it with you anywhere, right? It's a lifelong, easy to learn, practice that,
Yeah,
it
right.
doesn't matter. You could be on a hike and you could pull over to the side in your hike. And I know you've done that, right? And
Yes.
meditated, there's
Yeah.
something kind of cool about that when you can just, oh, let's go, do it anywhere.
Anywhere, even in the middle of a fight with your partner. Hold on, I gotta meditate. Maybe I won't be such a jerk. I'll come back nicer.
Well, could help, right? So,
Yes.
well, that leads me on to our last question for today, and that I love it when you share stories. And I think today you might have a personal story about how meditation has increased either your capacity, I think you're talking about yourself today, right?
I am.
To give and receive loving energy, and how has it helped to see your partner as a source of love and pleasure? And this is perfect because this is your anniversary month and we're
Mhm.
talking about love, right?
That's why I decided to share a personal story. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, one of the reasons I'm passionate about meditation for other couples is because of my own experiences with it. And the fact that I'm in a position where I do have the opportunity to help a lot of couples, why not? In my own case, yeah, what I've discovered is that I could tell you the first thing that pops into my head. I actually didn't plan this answer. I knew I was going to share about me, but I don't have anything planned. So I could tell you what pops into my head is there's I have this ability now because of meditation. I do believe it's because of meditation more than any other thing to not take things personally. I
Mm,
think that keeps my heart open to love because if my wife has a complaint for me and I right away know it's not about me, like in month 2, I talk about
right.
reducing defensiveness by practicing radical self-acceptance because I go to this place of me that I really know I'm enough. I mean, I really feel it. I feel it. I'm not saying I always feel that. I sometimes get caught off guard, but I do feel that more because of the meditation. That when she complains about me, I just don't get very rattled and I stay kind of centered. And I look at her as a person who she's having a problem right now. She's having an experience and not a very pleasant one. So it frees me up to keep my heart open and not defensive and not protect myself because there's really nothing to protect myself from. And so I'm present for her. She feels my presence even when she's mad. And that madness oftentimes gets dissolved, that anger gets dissolved because I'm present. And so it doesn't escalate. She feels heard. And then, of course, she's loving me, so I get the benefits of that. But
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it all comes back to having the space and meditation and not take things personally and to stay open when maybe in before, because I have a history of that too, my heart would close and I
Right.
would be, reactive, or I would say, oh, get over it, or, all the things that people say. A lot of us men will say, oh, you're being too emotional. It never helped my life. Every time I said you're being too emotional, she got more emotional. Every
Sure.
time and I do believe because of meditation, I was able to just go, you're really having a tough time with me right now. And then even being able to go, yeah, I didn't listen to you that time, or I didn't. It's like it's okay to own it. It's not a big deal. I'm telling you, it's getting to that part of me that is already enough, that's pure, that's pristine,
Mhm.
helps me when I get those waves coming to not get turned around by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would have to agree with you that, that moment or that being present and not trying to fix things and move on really
Yes.
is a powerful way of being.
Yeah.
So let's touch on that because really that before you both started meditating, or do you I mean, you still could probably have that same effect even if it was only one person.
No, it was definitely started when I was the only one
Right.
meditating.
Right.
She
Right.
joined. She is now meditating, and she does a different program than me. I mean, I do my thing. She does her. Everyone is good. In my meditation for couples program, it works either way.
Right.
But I do have people if they want to do it together. There is a meditation they do together. But no, it started when I just started. It was definitely and it takes one person to start a positive trajectory.
Right.
So.
Right. And that's for all of you out there who are listening to this and maybe you don't have a partner that wants to meditate right away, but you want to change yourself. I mean, that's one of the things you've always said in your work is it really only takes one person to start
Start it. Right.
change.
Right.
And that's really where the power is if one person wants to change and be present for the other person, you can really affect the relationship, right? And
Right.
meditation is very helpful for that,
Absolutely.
especially since it's scary. I mean, to do some of this work sometimes, right? It really takes the fear out of it.
It definitely does. And,
So
you know, less stress, the better. So,
exactly. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with people today on the subject of that we didn't touch upon about, opening your heart to love and
well, look, I mean, I remember listening to a man, Father Gregory Boyd. He's the guy who started the most successful gang intervention program. And I remember during his talk with us, he said about 6 times, "We are all nobly born. We are all nobly born," meaning that we are all born beautiful. You know, we all deserve love. The people in the gangs, they had tough lives, and they've been turned around because he saw them as people who are nobly born. So we're all nobly born, and there's nothing that I know of better than meditation to help you get in touch with your nobility in that sense, and your value, your intrinsic worth, that is not conditioned by other people's past experiences and their negative projections onto you or criticisms of you. So we really do have this vehicle. So why not use it so that we could get what we deserve, being born nobly, which is to give and receive love. What is more important than that? What's more
yeah,
important than that?
nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing, nothing. Well, I'm going to leave this with two things. There's the link below that you can check out Todd's program. We also have another free download. It's the 7 mind-blowing effects of meditation guide that Todd has created. And I've included that link for the listeners right below as well. I really urge you to go and check out that Meditation for Couples program. It's at a special introductory price right now, and I don't know when we're going to raise the price, but I have a feeling it's going to be very soon. So if you haven't checked it out, sign up, and we look forward to seeing you inside of Todd's program.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.